Guys, good morning. Happy coffee talk. Monday? Yes, it is Monday. Oh my gosh, I have some crazy makeup on my face that I did not even blend in, like not a little bit. It's not even like I put on makeup this morning, to be honest. I put on my sunscreen. So this is my normal routine, okay? So I put on my sunscreen, which is tinted, so it kind of like evens out my skin tone. And then I take a concealer stick and I kind of like hit any weird red spot or blemish. I do that. And then I take a brow pencil and I color in my eyebrows a little bit, just because they're still, I would call my eyebrows still in rehab from the late 90s, early 2000s. I don't know if you're of that generation, but we plucked our eyebrows completely gone. And so mine were so thin and ridiculous. And they stayed that way all the way until I would say about 5.5 years ago. 5.5 years ago, my eyebrows were still crazy. And then I did microblading. So if you've never heard of I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, basically it's like little tiny tattoos. So they draw your eyebrows the way they're supposed to look, or at least like reasonably supposed to look, with these tiny little tattoo strokes. And they're not permanent for life, but they are permanent like for a year or two. So what this did for me is it allowed me to let my eyebrows grow in. And it was almost like someone had drawn like a color in the lines. Like as long as eyebrows grew inside of that place where they had microbladed, I didn't touch them. And if they grew outside of it, then I knew to pluck them. So 5 years later, I have full eyebrows. Like these are my real eyebrows. You can hardly even see the microblade. However, there are, a little bit of, of consequences for all of that plucking. So anyways, morning routine for my face is I put on my sunscreen that's tinted. I do a concealer stick like on my nose and a couple little spots. And then I take my eyebrow pencil and I color my eyebrows and then I put on mascara. That's literally it. But I had forgotten to blend in like a tiny spot of the concealer stick. So that kind of made me laugh. But anywho, I am drinking Wicked Wolf coffee. I'm on a Wicked Wolf kick now for a little bit, and it's delicious. And this mug was really cool. I got it from Etsy, but it's got birds on it, and it is the season of birds at my house. All the birds are out. All the birds have babies. It's the best. I don't know why Washington baby birds happen in June, but they do. They don't happen in March and April. Like I feel like in Maryland where I grew up, it was March and April, and here it's June. So anyways, I'm enjoying all of the birds. There's like baby birds out my window right now. But I just did an email about this and I feel like we could talk about it, especially since I'm just talking about my face routine is like your morning. And there's so much hype about mornings right now. Like you can't go 2 seconds on Instagram without seeing some sort of proclamation about, cold plunge and, having X, Y, and Z Zen and doing all that. And I actually think that stuff's great. You can do whatever you want in the morning to set your day straight. But I think the big takeaway, and that's what I said in my email, is that you need to own your morning. So whether your morning looks like you take quiet time and you sit on the porch and you drink coffee and you do like a morning meditation or reading or whatever you want to do. It could look like that. It could look like, affirmations and journaling your goals and then jumping in the cold plunge and doing, sort of like the exciting new version of like what a morning routine is on Instagram or YouTube. So it could look like that. Nothing wrong with that. Or it could look like mine. Mine tends to be like roll out of bed and get right to it because I enjoy getting a lot of stuff done before everyone else is awake. And so I like to get this podcast recorded, for example, and get some writing done and get some email responses and like just do some work that I want to do because I love what I do. I love coaching and I love Fit Me. And so getting to do it quietly in the morning before chaos, that is something that's enjoyable for me. And I always feel like conquering my morning looks like getting dressed. So I try not to stay in my pajamas too long. I want to get dressed, put my shoes on, put myself together so that I'm ready for the day like pretty quickly because that shifts my brain. So my morning routine does start with like coffee and just getting right to work. But that's what I like. It's how I own my morning. And I want you to own your morning because I think one of the problems that we face when we're struggling with eating healthy, exercising, taking better care of ourselves, right? If like that's what we need to do. So like let's work in reverse. Goal being body feels awesome. Whatever that is for you. Maybe you feel super strong. Maybe you feel like you are at a healthy body weight. Maybe you feel like you're in a certain size that you want to wear and you feel confident, whatever that is. Okay, so body feels awesome. How do we get there? Well, we need to take care of ourselves. There's no shortcuts, right? The shortcuts are all BS. We know that they're not true. We have to take care of ourselves. So what does that look like? Well, that looks like eating healthy food, like not overdoing it on sugar or alcohol. It means eating enough protein. It means doing strength training. It means walking. It means getting enough rest and managing your stress, right? That's what that looks like. How do you feel awesome? You do that, right? You take care of yourself. It's not rocket science. I just gave you the recipe. That's how you do it. Okay. So then how do you do those things, right? That sounds like it's pretty straightforward. Christy, thanks for solving that puzzle that everybody seems to be confused about in the entire world. But how do you do those things? Well, then that's when we take one more step further and we start to look at, well, what are the pieces of our day, our life, our routines that impact our ability to do those things? And one of those is your morning. Because if you don't own your morning, so say you wake up groggy, you didn't go to bed early enough, you wake up groggy, you're immediately scrolling on social media, and then it's reaction. Everything is reactive. You didn't give yourself enough time to even have 5 minutes to get clear on your day. And so you're constantly in like response mode, right? So you don't own your morning. And I'm not saying that that's everybody's is going to look the same. Like when you have little bitties, guess what? Owning your morning is going to seem pretty tough, but you can do it. It's going to look smaller. Okay. Cause when the baby starts crying, when the toddler starts spitting up, like all the things start to happen, there's not like, oh, let me go have my 5 minutes of quiet coffee. However, you can own your morning a little bit, right? Like being proactive, maybe trying to go to bed a little bit earlier, maybe having your clothes set out the night before, maybe having a coffee pot ready to brew. Like there are little things that you can do to be proactive rather than reactive, even if you're in a season of chaos. And those little things make a big difference because now, again, like it's a mental shift because when you're proactive rather than reactive, you can make empowered choices about what you need to do. Because when we're reactive and we're responsive, we're not actually like making decisions towards what we want. We're just surviving. And so if you can do that, even in just small little things in the morning, it's going to spill over to the rest of your day. You are more likely to be proactive about your breakfast choice, more likely to be proactive about your lunch choice. You're more likely to be like, hey, would you want to go for a walk instead of meat, blah, blah, blah. It's a proactive thing. It's not reactive. It's like, hey, this is what I need to do today to take care of myself. Do you want to be a part of that? Can we do this together? Can we shift this other thing? Instead of like, oh my God, now I don't have time because so-and-so said I need to do this. And so I stayed late. And so then I was behind on this and this. And so I didn't get to go there. And that is reactive. That's how that stuff never happens. So if you look at it and you're like, well, who cares about the morning? I care because if you own your morning, again, whatever that looks like to you, any version of owning your morning, you are starting your day proactive and intentional. And that carries over to your ability to do the things that you need to do to take care of yourself and the people that you love. So it carries over into being able to eat healthy, make good choices, do your strength training, get your walking in, manage your stress, go to bed early, and then wake up in the morning and feeling really good. You do that over and over again for weeks and months and years, you're going to feel great in your body. That's how you do it. You got to take care of it. And in order to take care of it, you got to work in reverse and figure out what are the things that I need to do in order to take care of it. And one of those things is to own your morning, whatever that looks like. And again, like it can just be little things. For me, just putting on my clothes and my shoes is a little thing that I do that helps me feel like I'm owning my morning. Having my coffee, it's little. I mean, shoot, I made a whole podcast around how much I love to drink coffee, but I mean, it's little, but if I don't have it, then I feel like, oh, I'm just kind of like, what caffeine can I have? It just seems like I'm already reactive. Instead, if I intentionally make a pot of coffee, especially if it's the night before and I can just push the button, that starts my day. It starts it on the right track. There are just little things that you can do. Again, you don't have to have some sort of like 90-minute morning Zen routine. That's probably unrealistic depending on the season that you're in. If you're in a season of that, do it because you might not be forever. I would be jealous of you. Like if you can go sit and watch the sunrise and do all of that stuff, by all means, like have at it. And if you're not in that season, then steal a little version of sunrise, right? Like steal the tiniest version of like listening to the birds start to wake up, or again, having your coffee, or sitting on the porch, or standing in the shower for 10 minutes and just letting it hit you, and having that time. Or maybe it's again going for a really short walk. Can you take your dog for a short walk? Something that is just for you, where you're owning your morning, you're starting your day on the right track. That's what this podcast is about. So I would love to hear from you. If you listen to this podcast episode, I want to know how you own your morning. Tag me in Instagram. So do something that is owning your morning. Tag me. I'll tag you back. And it'll be a great way for us to be proactive together, and, conquer our day, take better care of ourselves, live the life we want to lead. But it starts with not letting your morning get away from you. So Nutrition Bootcamp is happening right now in the Fit Me Facebook group. So today is day 1. It's going to be awesome. It's not too late to join. There are 4 mulligan days, which means of the 10 days of Nutrition Bootcamp, you actually get 14 days to complete it. So there's no reason you still can't jump in. I'll put the link in the show notes. So sign up if you haven't done that yet. I'd love to have you be a part of it. It's totally free. It's going to be every single day, lessons, targets, fun stuff that you can do. I would love for you to be a part of that. So jump in a Facebook group, join Nutrition Bootcamp. And if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. So thanks as always, for plugging into Coffee Talk. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to Fit Me Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast platform. And if you're not a part of our Facebook group yet, go to Facebook, search Fit Me Community, request to join the group, and I will add you there. Talk to you later. Bye.